In the silent void of space, the galaxy's largest news networks played the same footage over and over again, grainy clips of Earth's Navy ships crawling across the stars. Small, slow, weak. Across alien stations, laughter echoed. A group of Zorkai officers in their bright blue armor chuckled as a human frigate tried to turn during a training drill. Its engines sputtered like an old machine. "Look at them," one alien said, tapping his glass screen. "Still using solid fuel engines. Still building ships with metal hulls." The others roared with laughter. To them, humanity was a joke, a primitive world from a forgotten corner of the galaxy. They didn't fear Earth. They pitied it. On the Galactic Council floor, the debate was short. The chair of the council, a tall creature with eyes like molten glass, spoke in a calm tone. "Humans are not a threat. Their fleets are old. Their weapons are simple. I suggest we classify them as a non-military species." No one objected. The vote passed in minutes. Earth's representatives, 3 quiet diplomats dressed in dark gray, said nothing. They only nodded and left the chamber without a word. Behind their calm eyes, something cold and silent waited. Weeks passed. Alien commentators joked about humans on every channel. Memes of rusty Earth ships flooded the galactic networks. Children of the Kaldari Empire played games where they pretended to blow up human fleets with a single shot. But far from the council's polished halls, in the cold shadows of the moon, there was no laughter. Deep under the lunar surface, where sunlight never reached, alarms began to flash red. 100 kilometers of tunnels and sealed hangars woke from a silence that had lasted centuries. Dust fell from ancient ceilings as heavy machinery roared to life. Massive turbines hummed. Hidden reactors began to glow with blue light. A single voice echoed through the darkness of a command bunker. "Project Titan, begin Phase 1. Commander Lyra Hayes stood in front of a cracked monitor, her reflection caught between shadows and blinking red lights. She was calm, but her hands trembled slightly as she entered the command code. For years, Earth had been mocked, ignored, even bullied by the empires that ruled the stars. They had called humans slow, weak, and harmless. They never asked why Earth stayed silent. Because Earth was building something. The ground shook. Old steel doors that hadn't moved in generations began to open. The sound was deep, like thunder trapped underground. Technicians ran through corridors shouting reports. Reactor stable. Power lines connected. Subsystems active. Hayes turned to her communications officer. "Signal Earth Command. Tell them Titan 1 is waking." The officer hesitated. "Ma'am, do you really think we're ready?" Hayes didn't answer. Her eyes stayed fixed on the main display, a massive steel chamber now glowing with blue light. "Readiness doesn't matter," she said quietly. "They laughed at us. Now they'll see." In orbit, alien observation satellites started picking up strange readings. Energy spikes from the moon, massive, rising fast. One alien technician frowned at his screen. "That can't be right," he said. "Humans don't have power sources like this." His supervisor laughed. "Check your calibration. It's probably static interference." The technician nodded and deleted the readings. He didn't know he had just erased the first sign of what was coming. Back beneath the moon, metal groaned and screamed as an enormous object began to move. It was buried deep, older than any human alive. Its surface was covered in dust, its engines silent for hundreds of years. But now, those engines stirred. Rows of blue lights came alive along its sides, forming glowing patterns that reached into the darkness. Steam hissed from vents. Chains snapped. And slowly, terribly slowly, the thing began to rise. Its size was impossible to understand. It was not a ship. It was not a machine. It was a Titan. Built when Earth still bled from its first galactic wars. Hidden when humanity swore never to be mocked again. Commander Hayes watched as the massive steel doors opened completely. The ground trembled under her boots. For a long moment no one spoke. Only the low hum of reactors filled the air. Then through the smoke and dust, a single light appeared, 2 massive reactor cores glowing like eyes in the dark. The Titan looked alive. Hayes whispered, "For centuries they laughed, but tonight the stars will remember our name." The control room fell silent. Somewhere above the moon's dead surface, the first ripples of power reached into space. Alien sensors flickered for a second, then went dark. Something enormous was moving under the surface and it was waking up. Ending hook. In the deepest shadows of the moon, a massive steel door slammed open. The light inside was blinding. Something ancient, something built to end wars, began to move for the first time in centuries. The Titans were awakening. For the next 12 hours the moon was no longer silent. Hidden machinery groaned beneath layers of rock as forgotten systems came alive. Massive pistons moved. Power conduits burned blue. The entire crust seemed to breathe. From orbit, small alien scout drones noticed faint light patterns under the lunar surface. They transmitted short reports, heat signatures rising, magnetic fields unstable. But no one believed them. After all, humans could not build anything so powerful. Not humans. The laughing scientists. On the Outer Rim Station Vorsk 9, alien scientists gathered around a holographic display of the moon. Energy readings pulsed across the screen. One of them, a tall Zarn with silver skin, laughed. "Look at this noise," he said. "Probably another mining explosion. Humans dig too deep and blow themselves up again." The others chuckled. They filed a report marked "low importance" and turned off the feed. But before the screen went dark, one intern noticed something strange. A perfect circular pulse expanding evenly from the moon's southern pole, like a heartbeat. She opened her mouth to speak, but the senior researcher had already closed the file. Earth Command. Far below, inside a hidden command bunker beneath Antarctica, Earth's highest military council assembled. Holograms of commanders flickered in the cold room. Some from Mars, some from deep-sea stations, some from lunar bases. General Harlan spoke first. Titan 1 is awake. Power output at 61% and rising. Luna's crust is holding for now. Commander Lyra Hayes appeared on the screen from her lunar base, her face pale under the blue light. She said softly, "We're bringing the other sites online. Titans 2 and 3 will follow within 48 hours. Silence filled the room. Everyone knew what this meant. For a century, Earth had hidden its true strength, pretending to be weak. Now the secret was ending. General Harlan broke the silence. "Once the Titans rise, the galaxy will see them. We can't hide anymore." Hayes replied, "They laughed at us for being small. Let them look up and see what we've built." The Council's doubt. The Galactic Council met again 3 days later. This time there was tension in the air. Reports from multiple systems spoke of energy surges coming from Sol, the human home system. Admiral Kothan of the Viral Empire slammed a claw on the table. "Either their planet is exploding or they are testing a weapon. Which is it?" The council chair, a calm being with translucent skin, smiled. "Admiral, you worry too much. Humans can't even leave their system without breaking their engines. There is nothing to fear." The chamber filled with uneasy laughter. But not everyone joined in. The ambassador of the small Jluan Republic whispered quietly, "Sometimes the smallest spark hides the biggest fire." His words went unheard. Awakening the giants. Under the moon, Titan 1 stood fully awake. Its black armor gleamed under artificial light. Every surface was alive with blue energy veins that pulsed like living veins. Thousands of engineers and soldiers moved along its platforms, tiny compared to the machine that towered above them. Its engines could move mountains. Its cannons could pierce planets. And yet it was still silent, waiting for orders. Commander Hayes stepped onto the command deck. Her voice was calm but carried through every speaker. "Begin communication test. Connect Titan 1's neural core." The response came like a low growl that shook the entire base. "System active. Awaiting directive." Everyone froze. The voice wasn't human. It was deep, ancient, mechanical, something built not to serve but to protect. Hayes whispered, "Titan 1, this is Commander Hayes. Confirm mission protocol." The reply was immediate. "Protocol Titanfall. Defensive action authorized." Hayes turned to her officers. "It remembers." The first glimpse. In orbit, alien patrol ships caught sight of something emerging from the moon. A small ridge opened like a door, releasing a burst of dust and gas. At first, they thought it was a mining explosion again. Then a dark shadow moved beneath the surface. The lead pilot tried to focus his sensors, but they went blank. Only static. He blinked in confusion and stared out his cockpit window. Something enormous was rising. It was shaped like a ship, but far larger than anything ever built by humans or aliens. Its hull shimmered with strange light patterns like living fire. And then, as if the universe itself took a breath, all stars near the moon dimmed. The first message. Across alien communication networks, one sudden broadcast appeared. A single transmission from an unknown source near Earth's moon. No voice. No video. Just a message in human script. Project Titan, Phase 1 complete. Panic spread through military networks. "Is this real?" one alien admiral shouted. "What are the humans doing?" No one had answers. For the first time in generations, the galaxy stopped laughing. Back on the moon, Commander Hayes stood before the great window of the control room, watching dust rise as the Titan's engines pulsed for the first time. The machine's shadow stretched across craters and mountains. She whispered to herself, "They laughed at us. They called us weak. Let them laugh now." Behind her, the control panels lit up. A new message blinked on screen. Phase 2, prepare for launch. Hayes turned, her eyes cold and focused. Activate Mars Command. Tell them the Titans are awake. The room filled with motion, voices, orders, energy. Above the moon, the stars flickered again. And somewhere far away, deep in alien space, the first whispers began. Something is happening on Earth. Ending hook. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy looked toward Sol, and saw movement. Not small ships. Not human frigates. But something vast and ancient, slowly rising from the moon. The age of laughter was ending. The Titans had begun to awaken. For weeks, rumors spread across the galaxy. Every station, every network, every alien market whispered about strange signals from the Sol system. Some said humans were testing new engines. Others said a moon had exploded. But the truth was much worse, and no one was ready for it. Alien curiosity. High above the blue world of Earth, a fleet of alien news ships gathered. Their job was simple: record, laugh, and broadcast the primitive humans again. Dozens of drones floated around the moon, sending back images of dust clouds and bright energy bursts. The alien commentators joked live on air. "Perhaps humans have finally learned to light a fire in space," one laughed. "Maybe they're celebrating their first working engine," another added. Millions of viewers laughed across the galaxy. They didn't see what was hiding beneath that dust. The shadow rises. Then it happened. The laughter stopped. Sensors screamed. Cameras shook violently as something enormous pushed through the moon's surface. A black tower of steel broke through the crust, followed by vast plates of armor. The ground tore open as the Titan slowly rose. Its engines burned blue, brighter than any sun. Its hull was covered with markings, the old flag of Earth and the words Titan 1, the Atlas. The alien broadcasters froze. What is that?" whispered one of them. Another tried to zoom in, but the camera's focus failed. The object was too massive. A single shadow stretched from the moon across the void, touching Earth itself. For a brief moment, it looked as if night had fallen on the planet. Panic on the council floor. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, panic echoed like thunder. Dozens of ambassadors shouted over one another. "Hologram evidence. We need hologram evidence. Deploy a fleet. Humans can't have that technology." But the evidence already filled the screens. A shape so large it blocked the stars. The council chair, who once mocked Earth openly, stood frozen in disbelief. This can't be real," he said. "Humans couldn't have hidden this." A calm voice from the Jluan ambassador answered, "They didn't hide it from us. We simply never looked." On the moon, Titan 1. Commander Hayes stood on the bridge, surrounded by glowing consoles. The Titan systems pulsed like a living heart. Artificial gravity, shields, reactors, all online. "Status?" she asked. "Power stable. Hull integrity, 100%. Weapon systems standing by." Hayes looked at the massive viewport where alien drones swarmed like insects. "Let them watch," she said quietly. "They've laughed long enough." Her second officer frowned. "Ma'am, are we really doing this? If we activate the full system, every empire will see us as a threat." Hayes smiled faintly. "Good. Let them be afraid for once." First contact, again. The alien fleet in orbit around the moon tried to hail Earth. Their messages went unanswered. One captain, brave or foolish, decided to move closer. "Transmit our authority," he ordered. "We demand inspection of this object." As his ship approached, the Titan sensors locked onto it. A beam of blue light scanned the alien vessel, cutting through its shields like air. On the alien bridge, alarms blared. "Unknown targeting signal. Power levels off the scale." The captain shouted, "Evasive action." But before his ship could turn, a deep rumble filled the void. A low-frequency pulse traveled through space, rattling their hull. It wasn't a weapon, it was a warning. The Titan's eyes glowed brighter. Its voice came through every alien frequency, translated automatically. "Unidentified vessels. You are trespassing in human defense space. Leave immediately." The alien captain froze. "It's speaking?" Before he could reply, the signal repeated, stronger this time. "Leave. Now." Every ship's system crashed. Engines offline. Shields disabled. One by one, the alien vessels began to drift silently away from the moon. The broadcast. Across the galaxy, the alien news channels that once mocked Earth now showed the same terrifying image. A human titan standing over the moon, blue lights pulsing like the heartbeat of a god. Commentators who once joked now spoke in whispers. Viewers, what we're seeing cannot be possible. The humans have something beyond our understanding. Military fleets scrambled. Empires argued. Some called for peace. Others called for war. But one truth spread faster than any order. The humans were no longer small. Inside the Titan, Hayes walked across the command bridge, her boots echoing against metal floors. She stopped before the massive holographic table that showed a glowing model of the solar system. Her officers waited silently. "Send the message to all stations," she said. "Earth's defense initiative is active. The Titans are operational." The communication officer nodded, her hands shaking slightly as she typed the transmission code. Within seconds, every human outpost, on Mars, Europa, and beyond, received the message. Phase 2, Global Defense Online. The alien response. Within hours, alien war fleets gathered at the edges of Sol system. Admiral Kothan, the same alien who had mocked humanity at the Council, led the charge. "Prepare all weapons," he commanded. "We will destroy their machine before they build more." His fleet moved into formation. Thousands of ships. Millions of tons of firepower. But even as they advanced, strange things began to happen. Their sensors flickered. Their targeting systems went dark. A wave of energy rippled from the moon, washing over the fleet. Kothan's eyes widened. "What is this interference?" Then his screen turned black. A single human message appeared. "You should have kept laughing." The silent moment. Every ship across the enemy fleet stopped moving. No explosions. No sound. Just silence. And then, slowly, the light of their own stars began to fade. Not because of damage, because the Titan was rising higher, its shadow spreading across the sky. From the surface of nearby alien worlds, citizens looked up and gasped. Their night sky had changed. The stars were gone, hidden behind a shape that blotted out everything. They had mocked Earth's tiny ships. Now the sky itself belonged to humanity. Ending hook. In the darkness of space, the alien fleets drifted helplessly. A single human voice filled every channel, calm, unshaken, unstoppable. "This is Earth Command. The Titans are awake. Stand down or be erased." The galaxy that once laughed had gone silent. But silence, they would soon learn, was far more terrifying than laughter. For centuries, humanity had been called weak. The galaxy mocked their old ships and slow engines. But now, under the cold light of the moon, that same galaxy began to tremble. Because the Titans were waking, and the stars would soon remember the name of Earth. The silence before the storm. Commander Lyra Hayes stood on the bridge of Titan 1, Atlas. Her eyes fixed on the holographic map in front of her, countless red markers blinking at the edge of Sol system. Alien fleets. Dozens of them. Moving closer every hour. Her voice was calm but heavy with tension. "Status report. Titan 2, Aegis, has awakened on Mars," her officer replied. "Titan 3, Leviathan, is active beneath Europa's ice crust. All systems are stable." Hayes nodded. "Then the time has come." She touched the control pad beside her, and the Titan's shared network lit up across the void. 3 blue lights appeared, one on the moon, one on Mars, one near Jupiter. For the first time in history, the Titan protocol was fully active. The Council's panic. Inside the Galactic Council Hall, the scene was chaos. News of 3 active Titans had spread like wildfire. Every empire shouted over the others, demanding answers. "They've built weapons of extinction," one ambassador screamed. "Humans are violating every treaty," another cried. But none of their words mattered. Live holograms from their probes showed the truth. Massive black ships, each one the size of a continent, moving silently through the solar system. "They are not ships," whispered the Jluan ambassador. "They are moving fortresses." The council chair trembled as he looked at the feed. "They said Earth was harmless," he muttered. "What have we done?" Inside Titan 2 Aegis. On Mars, Titan 2 stood buried beneath the red sands. Colonel Rin Ito, its commander, watched as the desert cracked open. Wind screamed across the surface as the Titan rose, its hull glowing orange in the sunlight. From orbit, alien scouts tried to approach, but they didn't make it far. A single pulse from Aegis sent their ships spiraling, their engines dead, their systems blind. The Titan didn't fire. It didn't need to. Its presence alone was enough to silence entire fleets. "Report to Earth Command," Colonel Ito said quietly. "Tell them Mars stands ready." The birth of Leviathan. Far beyond Mars, beneath Europa's frozen oceans, Titan III awakened. 4 years, it had been trapped under layers of ice, hidden in the depths, powered by ancient fusion cores. As it rose, the ice cracked and shattered like glass. Vast waves crashed as Leviathan broke the surface, its black armor reflecting Jupiter's light. Alien probes orbiting nearby captured the scene, and immediately fled. But not before sending one last frame, a massive eye-shaped reactor staring back at them from beneath the sea. The file spread across the galaxy within hours. Billions saw it. Billions went silent. The human message. From a dark control center deep beneath the moon, Commander Hayes activated the communication array. Her voice echoed through the void, carried by subspace waves to every known corner of the galaxy. "This is Commander Lyra Hayes of the Terran Defense Command," she said steadily. "For centuries you called us weak. For centuries you laughed at our ships, our people, our home." She paused, her tone colder now. "You said humans were not fit for war. You were right. We were never meant for war. We were meant to end it." Her words traveled across space, cutting through static and fear. Alien leaders who once mocked Earth now stared at their screens in silence. The first movement. The Titans began to move. Slowly. Gracefully. Like gods rising from ancient sleep. Atlas left the moon's shadow, drifting toward Earth. Aegis hovered above Mars, forming a defensive barrier. Leviathan rose from Europa's sea, engines glowing deep blue. Every movement they made caused gravitational ripples that reached alien sensors across dozens of systems. The galaxy watched in awe as 3 Titans aligned in a perfect triangle around the sun. Then came the transmission. A coded pulse that traveled faster than light, impossible for alien computers to decipher. The message read: Phase 3, Nightfall Protocol. Nightfall begins. Alien fleets near the border of Sol prepared for battle. Thousands of ships stood ready, laser cannons charged, plasma torpedoes armed. Admiral Kothan, now desperate to redeem himself, barked orders. Fire at will. Destroy their machines before they spread. The command went out. Tens of thousands of energy beams shot toward the human system, only to vanish into darkness. Every blast, every missile, every weapon was swallowed by a black field surrounding the Titans. No light escaped. No signal returned. Alien captains screamed into their comms. "Our shots, our sensors, nothing's working. It's like they've erased the stars themselves." And then suddenly their view screens went black. The day turns to night. From countless alien worlds people looked up at their skies. The stars were gone. Entire constellations disappeared, blotted out by a spreading shadow from Sol. At first they thought it was some kind of energy wave. Then the sensors confirmed the truth. It wasn't a wave. It was the Titans moving together, forming a barrier that consumed all light. Day turned to night. Planets thousands of light years away watched as the glow of their nearest stars dimmed. The galaxy's brightest empires, once so proud, now trembled in the dark. Human resolve. Back on Earth, the leaders of the Terran Command watched the transmissions quietly. No one celebrated. No one cheered. General Harlan turned to Commander Hayes. "They'll see this as an act of war." Hayes stared at the black sky beyond the window. "They started it long ago, when they laughed at us, when they called us less than them." She walked to the console and pressed a single button. All Titans responded instantly, their lights burning brighter than suns. "Now," she said, "let them see what happens when humanity stops pretending." The message heard across the galaxy. Every communication line across known space lit up. A message appeared, calm, precise, human. "This is Earth Command. The Titans have awakened. We do not seek conquest. We seek silence." No one dared to reply. No one even breathed. For the first time in history, the galaxy understood fear. Ending hook. From one end of the Milky Way to the other, the stars dimmed as 3 shadows moved across them. The Titans were awake. And wherever their light passed, the laughter of aliens died. Humanity had not just returned. It had risen. For thousands of years, the galaxy had been loud. War drums. Trade signals. Broadcasts. Every corner of space echoed with voices of countless species. But now, the stars had gone silent. No one could see the sun. No one could send a message. And in the center of it all, 3 human Titans floated in darkness, their engines burning like caged stars. The galaxy's laughter had ended. Fear had taken its place. The Galactic Council's last meeting. In the Grand Hall of the Council, chaos reigned. The ceiling screens showed nothing but static. Entire sectors had gone dark. "We've lost communications with the Outer Rim colonies," one official shouted. "Half our fleets have vanished," cried another. The council chair slammed his claws on the table. "Explain how this happened. How could a primitive world like Earth?" He froze mid-sentence as the main holoscreen flickered. A human face appeared. Come. Unblinking. It was Commander Lyra Hayes. "Council members," she said coldly, "this is your only warning. You have entered soul space without permission. Your fleets attacked our border. Now you will leave, or vanish." Her words echoed through the hall. The translators whispered her message into hundreds of languages, spreading terror across the galaxy. The council chair tried to stand tall. "You threaten the united powers of the galaxy?" Lyra didn't answer immediately. Instead, the screen behind her changed, showing live footage. Alien war fleets, thousands of ships strong, drifting powerless. Some burned in silence. Others floated cold and dark, their crews missing. "We don't threaten," she said softly. "We warn." Then the screen went black. The fall of the First Fleet. At the edge of Sol, Admiral Kothan's fleet prepared for a final strike. Over 10,000 alien ships formed a wall of steel and plasma, weapons locked on target. Kothan sneered. "Humans cannot stop all of us. Fire." But no one heard the explosions. The blasts never reached their targets. Space bent. Light shattered. The fleet's weapons twisted mid-flight and vanished into black nothingness. Then they heard it. A low, thunderous vibration, deep like the voice of a god. The sound didn't travel through air, it traveled through their ships, their bones, their thoughts. The first Titan appeared out of the void, Atlas. Its hull was pure black steel, its engines glowing faint red. Alien scanners couldn't measure its size. It seemed infinite, like a mountain drifting through space. "Open fire," Kothan screamed. But before the order could finish, Atlas released a single pulse. No weapons, just sound. A wave of vibration passed through the fleet. And then silence. Every ship froze in place. Engines stopped. Lights died. Inside each vessel, the crew's hearts stopped for exactly 3 seconds. When they woke, they found their weapons melted and systems erased. The First Fleet was gone, alive but broken. Admiral Kothan floated in disbelief as his screens went dark. Through the black glass of his viewport, he saw the Titan turn slowly toward him. It didn't fire. It just looked at him, like a god watching an insect. Then his ship's power core shut down and everything went black. Human Command, the moon base. Deep beneath the lunar surface, Earth Command watched in silence. Commander Hayes stood beside General Harlan, both staring at the holomap filled with red markers fading one by one. "Atlas reports the first wave neutralized," said a technician. "Non-lethal suppression confirmed." "Good," Harlan said quietly. "No unnecessary deaths. That's the rule." Hayes turned to him. "They won't see it that way. To them, even mercy is terror." She walked toward the window that looked into space, where the faint red glow of Titan Atlas shimmered. "They thought we were relics," she whispered. "Now they'll call us monsters." The second awakening, Titan Leviathan. Far beyond Mars, under the icy shadow of Europa, Titan III, Leviathan, began to move. Its engines thrummed like the heartbeat of a dying star. The water around it boiled, vaporizing into clouds that stretched across the moon's sky. Inside its command center, Captain Imani Cade adjusted her controls. "Target lock on the Varn Dominion fleet," she said. "They've broken the warning line." Her second officer hesitated. "Ma'am, there are civilians aboard those ships." Imani closed her eyes for a moment. "Then we'll blind them, not break them." Leviathan's reactor pulsed once, and the stars blinked out. For 7 minutes, every alien ship within 100,000 kilometers went dark. Their engines, weapons, and communication arrays all collapsed under an EMP field strong enough to erase memory itself. When the lights returned, the Dominion fleet found itself drifting in the void. No coordinates, no power, no hope. Imani whispered to herself, "Let them go home. If they can find it." The universe watches. Across the galaxy, hundreds of worlds tuned in to forbidden human channels, trying to see what was happening. Pirate broadcasters risked everything to replay human transmissions. They showed the Titans. They showed the silence. They showed the void swallowing entire fleets without a single shot fired. And for the first time in recorded history, no empire dared to laugh at humanity again. Alien scholars began rewriting their records. News anchors whispered words they never thought they'd say. Earth is no longer a minor world. The shadow over Orion. Weeks later, something darker appeared. Alien astronomers near the Orion spur detected massive energy signatures leaving Sol system. They counted 3, then 6, then 12. New Titans. The reports sent the galaxy into panic. If Earth could build 12 of them, then no world was safe. But when human frequencies were finally decrypted, they revealed something unexpected. The Titans are not weapons. They are guardians. We warned you once. There will not be a second time. The fear in every sky. On hundreds of alien worlds, children looked up at their skies and asked their parents, "Will the humans come here too?" Their parents had no answer. Because every night, near the edge of the heavens, a faint red glow shimmered, like eyes watching from beyond the stars. The Titans never invaded. They simply waited. And that silence, the waiting, was worse than war. Human resolve. Back on Earth, the blue planet that started it all, people stood united. No parades. No cheering. Only quiet pride. Commander Hayes recorded her final message to the Council. Earth does not seek revenge, she said. But the galaxy has forgotten what peace costs. If you come for us again, remember, our silence is not weakness. It's warning. Her hand hovered over the control pad. Behind her, the Titans aligned around the sun once more. Then she pressed transmit. The signal left Sol at light speed, carrying her words across every known empire. Ending hook. As the message traveled, alien receivers everywhere glitched, screens turned black, and a single line of text appeared. Phase 4, Ascension Protocol, initiating. No one knew what it meant. But every species in the galaxy felt the same thing at that moment. A chill down their spine. Because the humans weren't done. The Titans had only begun to move. The galaxy had fallen silent. No fleets moved without hesitation. No empire dared speak. All eyes, though many could not see, were on Sol. 3 Titans now floated in perfect formation around the sun: Atlas, Aegis, and Leviathan. Their presence alone had rewritten the laws of warfare, and the galaxy finally understood one terrifying truth: humanity was no longer a minor player. The Council in fear. Inside the Galactic Council Hall, the atmosphere was thick with panic. Screens flickered with images of empty fleets and darkened planets. The chair, once so confident, now shook visibly. How is this possible?" he whispered. "The humans, how did they hide so much power?" Ambassadors shouted over one another. "Deploy our fleets. Destroy the Titans. They will erase our worlds. Send negotiators." But every plan died before it left their mouths. The holographic feed lit up again, humanity's signal, calm, precise. "This is Earth Command. Phase 4, Ascension Protocol is now active. Any attack on Sol or its colonies will be met with total defense. Humanity seeks peace. Ignore this warning at your own risk." A silence unlike any the galaxy had ever known filled the chamber. Phase 4, The Awakening. On the moon, Commander Lyra Hayes pressed a series of final keys on the control panel. Blue and red lights pulsed across Titan Atlas. The system hummed like a living being, its hum traveling through space faster than thought itself. From Mars, Titan Aegis lifted from its dusty cradle. From Europa, Leviathan cut through the ice like a blade, revealing its full form to the void. The Titans no longer waited, they were awake. Fully operational. Hayes whispered, "Initiate ascension. Let them see the full power of Earth." The first strike, without violence. Alien fleets near Sol trembled as the Titans aligned. Atlas projected a massive energy shield, invisible to human eyes, surrounding the inner planets. Aegis created a magnetic pulse field, disrupting all enemy sensors. Leviathan emitted a subspace pulse that scrambled communications across multiple systems. No lasers fired. No missiles launched. Yet within minutes, every hostile fleet experienced complete paralysis. The aliens realized they were helpless. Humanity didn't need to attack. The very presence of the Titans ensured compliance. The warning across the galaxy. Through the subspace communication network, Earth broadcasted a final warning to every empire. "You have mocked us. You have ignored our warnings. The Titans are not weapons of conquest. They are guardians. Any threat to Sol or its colonies will be met with irreversible action. This is your only warning." Every empire paused, every fleet froze. The galaxy's most powerful militaries, once arrogant and unchallenged, now listened in silence. The word spread faster than any warship could fly. Fear replaced laughter. Doubt replaced pride. The galaxy would never be the same again. The Empire's response. Admiral Kothan, still drifting in the void, watched his powerless fleet. His pride burned. His Empire's honor was shattered. But there was nothing he could do. He whispered to himself, they are gods. Every alien fleet that had once laughed at Earth now fled. Some tried to regroup. Others retreated entirely from the system. All underestimated humanity. All learned their lesson too late. The Titans align. The three Titans moved in perfect synchronization. From the Moon to Mars to Europa, their glowing forms created a triangle that blocked sunlight in parts of the outer system. Stars dimmed in their wake. On Earth, the people looked up. No celebration, no cheering, only quiet reverence. They had been laughed at, mocked, and ignored for centuries. Now the galaxy would never forget them. Commander Hayes spoke quietly to her officers. Let them leave. Let them see the future we protect. The Titans remained in orbit, silent guardians, their power absolute. The lesson. Across hundreds of worlds, alien rulers realized the cost of arrogance. Humans were not weak. They had been silent. They had been careful. But when cornered, they became unstoppable. The galaxy whispered their fear, and it spread like wildfire. Books were rewritten. Histories corrected. Legends of Earth's Navy, once laughed at, became stories of respect and terror. The final message. From the Moon, Earth Command sent one last transmission, calm and measured. This is Earth. The Titans are awake. Sol and its colonies are under protection. Any act of war will be met with total response. Humanity does not seek conquest. We seek peace. Remember this. The message traveled across light years. Every listening species understood. The age of mockery was over. The galaxy watches. In the blackness of space, the Titans remained. A silent warning visible to all. A shadow over the stars that reminded every empire of their place. Earth had endured ridicule, betrayal, and doubt. Now it had risen, not with small ships, not with weak weapons, but with power no one could ignore. Commander Hayes stood one final time on Atlas's bridge. The blue glow of the engines reflected in her eyes. She whispered, let them remember, humanity is never soft. And the Titans will always watch the stars. Ending hook/final moment. The galaxy went silent, staring at the three Titans orbiting Sol. The stars, once bright and proud, seemed smaller now. For centuries to come, every species would know. Earth had awakened, and no one could challenge it.